How are you supposed to tank the absolute monsters that IS has been giving out lately? These Omega nukes have just been demolishing things, and we want to start talking about how to work around them and the small soft counters that IS has started to give us. So, we're going to go over little pieces of the meta and work in how exactly you can get enemy phase back into your game. So tell me in the comments, who's your favorite intern unit? Who are you using right now? We're going to go over Astra season first, and I really want to focus on healing in this one because it's something that we've kind of neglected for a long time. If you remember, the Mystic Boost seal used to be amazing, not because of what it did to healers, but because of what it did to the unit itself, getting 6 extra HP per combat. That used to be absolutely incredible. We are approaching that again, but they're giving us some different things, and I want to bring up the example of Sita and why I was so high on her. Now, versus Cavs, and Cavs lines are a very big part of the meta right now, she's going to get 14 healing from her weapon. If you pair her with Gatekeeper, that's another 7. And if you pair her with Hortensia, which I saw a lot of this last season, you get a total of 28 healing per combat. That starts to help us versus the burn damage that we're seeing. Because remember, the major unit that does burn damage right now is Leon. Being able to at least last through him and heal back is a big step in the right direction. Let's go over some examples though. So the first thing we have to go over is why I'm discussing this now. And the big thing is player phase is starting to show some cracks. They're giving us new things that kind of help against units like Winter Edelgard. Example, Myrrh. Now, we're going to bring up Myrrh in an offensive sense in a bit, but just having her up there does a lot versus units like Winter Edelgard. Anytime you can break the mechanics of how the opposing team works, be that on offense or defense, it is to your advantage. It's why I'm so high on Milla. It's also why you're starting to see Freyr in light season right now, which is absolutely bonkers, right? But I feel like we're going to get more of these units. More on that later. Let's go over just what a traditional tanking team looks like right now. And this is about as maxed out as you can get. This is absolutely incredible with your Miracle, Gambit, Lucia. You remember like months ago, this was incredibly amazing and overpowered, and you're about to see this unit just get absolutely obliterated. And, well, almost, not quite. Still, Ivy survives her. Myrrh comes in for what reason, I don't know. And that gets her down enough that someone else is going to come in like Sanaki and finish the job. You can see how this works. So what do we do about this? Because you can see what really happened there was kind of a battle of attrition where units kept on coming in, and Lucia would survive, but not for long. I want to look at Malelir, and what really inspired me on this one was seeing Chronacos' clears, and I'm going to link the video that he did. The thing is, Miracle is great, but again, this is a battle of attrition. You're going to continue to get beaten down, that Miracle's going to get used up, and then you're not going to be able to use the unit again. What he did was pair Hortensia with Gatekeeper and was able to keep the unit alive longer. So, you're seeing that we've stuck Alir right out there, tank Sanaki just fine, Leon comes in, the miracle happens, great, right? This is saving this unit. But there's a lot of other stuff coming on. Gulvig, for instance, comes in and just tries to absolutely blast Alir. What we're going to see is that the healing from the other units keeps him going. What would have been a much more disastrous run through, because right now that unit would have been at about 20 HP and would have had to tank a whole lot of units. We are at the point where we need to start prioritizing healing on our tanks because of how much burn damage there is. You're seeing each of these ranged units had at least 14 burn damage coming in. If the healing wasn't there, Alir would be dead right now, so keep that in mind. So we're going to move over to light season. We've talked about healing and how valuable a tool that is. I want to start talking about the mechanics of individual defenses and how you can start to take them apart. But the first thing I want to look at is how player phase is starting to be taken apart. All right, so here we have Winter Edel, and this team looks like it sets up for the perfect player phase type deal. But we have Brave Edelgard, who is now the hero of every team that would get smashed by enemy phase units. Brave Edelgard has absolutely changed the way we look at Winter Edelgard, and she is our new savior if you are dealing with Winter Edelgard every season. Now, What we see here is this team tries to go in and actually take her out using a hit and run tactic, but can't because the units are so bulky. That is the thing that we've been seeing happen more and more, is these units that they're giving us out have so much different types of damage reduction that it's harder to just go in and absolutely blast things. So this is a failed attempt and couldn't have been player phased with Edelgard. Now, there are some other things you could have done, but traps make this difficult, and this was a rank 1 defense that held off a lot of different players. Now, I don't want to say that player phase doesn't have its place because that's just silly. This is a flyer line, and flyer lines in general have been kind of hurting just because they don't have the same bulk up front, but they are also easier to take apart because the lanes are very confining and you're able to isolate units or go in with hit and run or go in with all sorts of other player phase things. So keep in mind, this is a great type of team to use player phase strategies on. That being said, when we look at a clear with something like Valentine's Myrrh, things really start to fall into place and you get a better idea of what's going on here. Now, right now, on offense, I still have the Byleths as the best savior out there. But if you're looking at an entire picture of defense and summoner duels and even an offense together, Myrrh is probably the best savior in the game. She offers a lot of support, a lot of ways that you can break mechanics without actually debuffing the enemy, because debuffs can get taken care of by things like Freyr. So you're seeing this right here where Myrrh is taking care of AoEs and piercing and miasma and every other deal. The problem with this type of clear and the problem with Myrrh in general on offense is she doesn't have a whole lot of killing power. So what you're going to run into a lot is you have to have a team surrounding her that can go in and be able to pick apart the rest of what's left. But still, having Warp Bubble available and all of the other things that she offers is very good, and your playstyle will have to vary, but you can make this happen. While we're here, I am going to mention hit and run because this is something that's gained a little bit of value, not a lot, but simply because of the way things have been setting up with protecting against the units like Winter Edelgard, you are more easily able to hit and run. So Kagero does get a little bit of value. Let's kind of put this all together though. We've got the archetypes, and looking at just cav lines, I believe they're holding steady right now. They've gained Brave Edelgard, which has helped them a lot versus player phase. They haven't gained any significant pieces other than that, and Brave Edelgard does open them up to the hit and run that we've been talking about. Still, these are very powerful teams that if you stack a whole bunch of burn damage on, take out almost anything you can think of head on. Hold that thought. So let's go back to God's gift of cav lines. And this is Leon, this is Sanaki, this is Gulveg. All of them are coming for you. The thing you want to remember is putting all of these together. And the first piece of that is Sanaki only gets piercing if you have units around you that have debuffs. That is a big, big deal. And isolating Byleth like this helps an absolute ton in being able to reduce the damage. Now, that's 15 times 2. If I had Byleth back on the line, it was in the range of 50 times 2. So understand that. The other pieces kind of fall out, and you can see what I've done is I've used Sather to isolate Leon so that I don't have to take these units together. Because remember, battle of attrition. The other piece that you see here is that I've added on healing from Gatekeeper, and I've given the Byleth's Mystic Boost. And this is giving them 20 HP per combat. When you add in everything else this unit does, that is a lot and helps you an absolute ton. Here comes Leon. Let's see how this goes. And 26 plus 15, we're doing really well with the Byleths right here. You can see using this unit as an Omni tank is paying off, and even right here with Edelgard coming in, you actually gained HP because of the 20 that you were getting from what's in this unit's kit, as well as, well, Gatekeeper was off to the side that time, but you can see how this goes. So how are you defeating these teams? You're offering your unit more healing to the point where you're prioritizing it. The other thing is you're focusing very hard on how these are put together. Can you take this apart with Sather? Can you isolate a unit? Can you add Milla in there to stop a dance? Can you do Valentine's Myrrh to possibly keep any types of warping from happening? All of these are big things to tell you how you can do things. Now, for the less well thought out defense, you can also usually pick some sort of corner where you isolate out a unit that you can get to. For the better defenses, though, you're going to have to use one of these other items. There is one defense that is doing fairly well even with all of that, though. Traps in general are not a thing you're going to see a lot of, and the reason is they're very difficult to put together. When they are put together well, though, they are incredibly hard to tank. You're seeing some Byleth action right here, and this is a pretty standard team, nothing big, but you can see how they've held back to try to isolate pieces of the unit and only get hit by maybe one of them at a time. When that happens, the entire team scrolls down and you're able to hit with, I think, 2 that time. A lot of the times it's more in the range of 3. These are teams that you want to watch out for, and they take a little time to defeat. If you can put one of them together, they're also a lot of fun. It's something you can come into the Discord and talk to folks about there. That is a longer topic, though. Watch out for these, though, and if you're a real defensive buff, I would look at trying to build one. We're going to talk a little bit about Summoner Duels. The thing that really happened during this last SDR was the homogenizing of the teams. And listen, I know I've been saying that's been happening for a while, but it really happened. They took data for every rank 1 team, and it was crazy how top heavy. There was really just one meta, and it was coming at you. And if you had nothing to do with it, it was just steamrolling you. The question is, what do you do with units like Leon? And I don't have an easy answer for that. We'll talk about it just a second, though. So this is the meta that you're seeing, and this was Adara Pasta, who I have shown all over this meta report because she's kind of amazing. But what you're seeing here is Myrrh to stop all of the crazy warping shenanigans, Crom to get action economy, and you have Pathfinder, and Pathfinder just everywhere. And this helps all of the crazy calves go around and absolutely smash things. And the thing that we're seeing different, I've talked about this a little bit, but the might of the units is really allowing you to hold back. Now, this was versus Tacho, and the really annoying thing about this was a chess match to see who could hold on to their Leon the longest. The beauty of this is it looks like you have Dagger just sitting out there as a free kill that you can then free someone. You come in with Leon, and then Leon gets smacked afterwards. And once that happens, you have a huge advantage when you have your Leon, but they don't have theirs. It was a thing that happened a lot in this last match, but that's really what we're talking about. The counter to Leon is another Leon. If you don't have this unit, Summoner Duels is a little bit miserable right now, and that's less than fun, and again shows you the homogenizing of the meta, where you have almost every single top tier team used Duo Leon, because why wouldn't you? That makes things a lot easier. Hey, hats off to you guys who did not use him. That is more commitment than I had, I'll let you know that. But this unit is a must-have, and for the upcoming SDS, just ban him. Seriously, he's an auto ban, get rid of that team. Now, there are some other things going on, and while I have charge going down because, again, Valentine's Myrrh is everywhere, I do like Chloe, and I think she is a unit to keep an eye on, especially in the upcoming SDS. I think she has a lot of power. I like her better than Hinoka because of the different things she offers. Keep an eye on her, and if you did manage to summon her, I think she's going to be a lot of fun. You can see right here where they took advantage of my stupidity and just absolutely smacked me. If you're interested in something a little more off meta, I've got a video on Alphonse. You should definitely go check that out. I had a ton of fun making it. Members, you are incredible and help me do a ton of fun things. We've got some lives coming up, and I'm really excited about it. So take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.